Well, this movie has been my most anticipated for 2 years now, and we are finally watching it. That is MaXXXine, the finale of Ti West's X trilogy. I am so pumped. Here is my review. Finally, after a 2-year hiatus from Pearl to MaXXXine, it is finally here, the movie I've been most excited for multiple years now, and I was so pumped to finally go see it in theaters. For those of you who've been watching my channel, you may know that X was one of my favorite movies of 2022, if not my favorite, and it was one of my favorite horror movies of all time, with slashers being one of my favorite genres, and it's my favorite slasher. So, huge praise to that one. A couple months later came Pearl, and that was also a really good film, and I was thinking to myself, man, this might end up being my favorite horror trilogy of all time. I cannot wait for MaXXXine. Well, the day finally came. I went out and saw it, and yes, I did have huge expectations just because of what Ti West was able to do with this trilogy so far. And going into it, I would say I was pleasantly surprised by parts and a little bit let down by parts. Not saying I loved it, not saying I hated it, kind of working myself through it with this review here, but let's get into it. For starters, I loved the 80s aesthetic of this film. Not only did it feel like a movie that was trying to be the 80s, it felt like a product of the 80s. It felt like Ti West traveled back in time 40 years just to make this movie. I loved the vibe of it, and I love the feel of it. One issue I do have with that is after MaXXXine's best friend, the guy who works at the VHS store, after he is, spoilers, killed, that whole vibe kind of goes away. You know, it's no longer an 80s vibe. I think that VHS retro store feel kind of helped that, and it kind of goes from that point on to feeling more like a modern day movie set in the 80s, which, whatever, it's a little nitpick, but I just wish that aesthetic carried on the whole way through. Again, Mia Goth gives an amazing performance. She is a standout of all three of these movies. In X, she plays MaXXXine and Pearl, and then in Pearl, she plays younger Pearl, and now here, she's MaXXXine again, and every time, she is the standout in these movies. She is the one who carries these films, and I think that pairing of Mia Goth and Ti West should go on forever, and I really hope they make more movies together. I'm hearing buzz online that there may be a 4th movie in this series. I don't know if that's needed. I think that this really wrapped it up well. If they do that route, I hope they actually have a good story in mind. It's not just a money grab. We'll see. Anything with Mia Goth and Ti West tied to it, I am in now for the future. Back to the film. I did think that the set of characters we got here was fun and entertaining. I liked Giancarlo Esposito's character as the talent scout, talent agent. I liked that bounty hunter character that was kind of after MaXXXine this whole time. It is interesting how these films go from a slasher film to a character study, almost psycho film, to this drama slash like whodunit slash like thriller chase. I like how Ti West put a little bit of different genres into each film while sticking to that horror feel. Like I said, these characters are a lot of fun. Obviously MaXXXine, again, being the standout. I thought the side characters were a little bit weak, but you know, they're side characters in a horror movie. What do you expect? While these characters were fun, I don't think we got enough backstory or enough build-up for really any of them. MaXXXine's the only one you've been following on this journey, so she has, you know, good character work, but everyone else kind of felt a little cheap and like the script didn't really lend to their story enough. Obviously in this one, spoilers coming up. If you haven't seen the movie, feel free to skip to the end of my final score or click off, whatever you need. But the killer reveal of it being her dad, I also didn't love. I feel like, you know, we're following this character for now 2 films. We're following this series for now 3 films. You should have a really cool killer reveal or a really cool finale. They could have just used the Night Stalker as the main killer, and I think that would have lent itself to the movie more. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the whole dad reveal. Plus, I saw it coming. I almost turned to my girlfriend and her brother in the theater and said, it's gonna be the dad. Right after they showed the whole beginning scene of you know, him saying, oh, he's very religious and he wants to make her a star, but then she went into, you know, porn and X-rated films, so he probably would have been happy about that. I saw it right away. A very easy killer to, you know, figure out. and I just didn't think it was strong enough for the story. You know, it's like, here's this little video that her dad filmed of her when she's younger, and then at the very end, boom, the dad gets to kill her, and why? Why was that it? It felt cheap, it felt undeserved. I know I feel like I'm ripping this movie out a lot. I did actually enjoy it. I did enjoy this movie. I thought that Ti West was great behind the camera. I thought that his direction and his cinematography was beautiful, like always. You know, X has some beautiful, may sound messed up to say, but has some beautiful kill scenes and some beautiful shots that really catch your eye. Pearl was shot really cool as well, kind of like an old-fashioned psycho film, like I said. Again, great behind the camera, great with his direction. I do think this might have been the weakest script because it felt like there was this huge build-up for 20 minutes and then we kind of just coasted to the end. But Mia Goth did take that script and carry it and do great with her performances. There was other great performances in this movie. It felt like at the end we were going to get this big Tarantino-esque build-up when Mia Goth got all ready and she was going to take on the killer on her own and solve this whole thing and save the rest of these female cast members. And then we didn't really get that. That also kind of died off. The cop characters, they were cool, they were entertaining, but they just didn't have enough to the story. I don't know. Of this trilogy, I do love it. I do think X is my favorite, and I do think Pearl is really good. This is the weakest outing, sadly. It's sad it ended on the weakest outing, but it's still an entertaining movie. If someone told me, hey, do you want to watch MaXXXine? I'm not going to say no. I'm going to rewatch it. It was fun. I had a good time with it. I think that Mia Goth is an exceptional actress, and I am ready for anything she puts out now. But I don't know. Maybe I was too hyped for this one, being my most anticipated for 2 years, but I did feel a little let down by it. That being said, filmed beautifully, directed beautifully, acted amazing. It had everything it needed to be a great horror film. It just fell short on every little aspect for me. That being said, with my overall score, I'm going to go with a 6.5 out of 10. I think that's a fair score for this movie. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I think it has a lot of shortcomings that hold it back from getting a high score for me, but 6.5 is what it deserves in my eyes. I'm still a huge fan of Ti West and Mia Goth, and I'm still on board for anything they make together. Like I said, X is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Pearl is an amazing character study. They have done a great job with this trilogy. Is it my favorite horror trilogy of all time? You know, X and Pearl may still keep it up there, but I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Yeah, I think this is a solid film, and I recommend going to see it and forming your own opinions, but just letting you know, it might be the weakest from this trilogy. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment below on what you thought of this film. Make sure to like my video, subscribe to my channel, anything you can do to help out. Thank you all so much and have a great day.